Hey booktube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in. The continued support, I really do appreciate it. So as you can see from the day's title of the video, I have another book review for you, and this is all on Lucian Bain's Butterfly and Pain, and it looks like this. This is the second installment to the Royal Bastards Motorcycle Club series, Newark, New Jersey chapter. I did do a full book review on the first one, which was Butterfly and Atlas, and it'll link here in the corner and in the down box below so you can go check it out. So, with that being said, if you have read Butterfly and Atlas and you want to see what my opinions are on this book, or if you saw that review and you want to see if maybe my opinions changed on anybody in that book, or you're just one of those diehards and you want to be here for along for the fucking ride, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's find the fuck out what this book's about. All right. As I said, this is a direct sequel to Atlas or Butterfly and Atlas. So because of that, this review is going to be set up just a little bit differently. But I will walk you through it. All right, guys, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'll walk you through it. But I do need to preface this, that I will be referencing that video and I will also be spoiling that book, because there is absolutely no fucking way I can talk about this book without spoiling the first one. It is a direct sequel, meaning if you have not read that book, you will not understand a damn thing that's going on in this one. Okay? So, if you have not read Butterfly and Atlas, stop this, go pick it up. It's on KU. Go read it. Come back and join us. If you have read it, stop this, go watch that other review, and then come back, because I'm going to be referencing that review in this video as well. And if you've done all those things, stick around. Or if you just want to play Russian roulette and see what fucking happens, and you don't care about spoilers, let's get started. So, a few stats about this book. A lot of them are very similar to the first book. We do have some newbies. Again, second installment to the Royal Bastard Motorcycle Club series, Newark, New Jersey chapter. And if you're not familiar with the Royal Bastards Motorcycle Club series, it is a composite series of a bunch of different authors that was started by Crimson Sin, and this installment was released in the second wave. So when this book came out, all the second books of this big series were coming out. We feature multiple personality disorder, which is now known as dissociative identity disorder. We feature body integrity identity disorder, cetophilia, veracophilia. We still have that very unique form of a why choose reverse harem representation in this book. We also have forced proximity with graphic sexual content, voyeuristic exhibition tendencies, and dominant submissive play. Graphic violence in this one. We also feature attempted sexual assault, coerced consent, and we do have our religious themes. So again, a lot of similar ones, but we do have some newbies in there. Now, I went over the definitions I'm about to go over in my first video, but if you did not watch that, I'm going to go over these again just so you're aware of what I'm talking about, because there's some big shit here, okay? There's some heavy-hitting shit. And I want you guys to know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, first off, multiple personality disorder. It is now known as dissociative identity disorder, and it is characterized by the switching to alternate identities. A person who experiences this may feel the presence of two or more people talking or living inside their head, and at sometimes feel possessed by them. And in this case, we have a hero that has five of them. And I'm still debating on the sixth one. Still debating 100%. But there's for sure at least five. We also have body integrity identity disorder. This is a rare condition where people disassociate themselves with physical body parts, thinking and feeling that they don't actually belong to them, and they can kind of act on their own. It's very, very rare, but it does exist. And one of our personalities definitely has it. Mr. Handy. Still makes me giggle. That name still makes me giggle. I love it. We also feature cetophilia, which is the sexual arousal by food, and veracophilia. which is characterized by the erotic desire to be consumed by or to personally consume another person or creature, or an erotic attraction to the process of eating in general. These were featured in the first installment, but they are more heavily featured in this one, as they are definitely brought to the forefront. We have a few more scenes with it and more discussion around it, so I definitely wanted to bring that to your attention. If this is something that you're looking for, it is kind of a string through this series. So, awesome. Now, why did I choose this book? Well, I'm reviewing the entire series, so that's one main reason why I chose this book, is because I agreed to review the entire series, and that's why one reason I was picking it up. But I was also very intrigued by the first book. The first book had me hooked, and I wanted to find out. So even if I wasn't reviewing the entire series, I was picking this thing up anyway. So that's one reason. That's the main reason why I picked this book, because I wanted to. And I'm also reviewing the books. But I want to reiterate before I get into this, if you have not read Butterfly and Atlas is going to get spoiled for you in this. I will not spoil this book for you, but Butterfly and Atlas will be spoiled. So again, if you have not read that book and you have desire to read that book and not be spoiled for it, pause this, go read it, come back. If you've read it and you're cool, let's go. If you do not care about spoilers, let's party. All right, so summary. Direct follow-up of Butterfly and Atlas. This picks up pretty much right where it ended. And we have Butterfly, who leaves secretly. She sneaks out because she desperately needs her Bible. She needs some piece of her to kind of center herself and gather herself of all this chaos that's going on. So she sneaks out, and on her route to get her Bible, she gets herself into some trouble, and the guys come and save her. So we do have like a white knight in shining armor moment in this book, which was really a good time. And this white knight in shining armor moment definitely gives us a moment with one of our heroes' personalities and our heroine, but I'll get to it later. After this incident's happened, some club business has to be taken care of. And during this club business, we find out a piece of information about Augustine's past that could maybe direct them into figuring out why he is the way he is, when this break happened. Augustine is the name of the main vessel. And we learn that in book 1. And this piece of information definitely will help the vessel and all of our personalities try to figure out where this break happened and what happened prior to it. But at this meeting where we're getting this piece of information, another attack happens on our heroine. And we have another white knight in shining armor moment, which I thought was fucking dope. So I got 2 of those. Those are always a good time. But because of this, the guys decide to, the guys, meaning the personalities in our vessel, decide to hide her away. She doesn't want to hide away. She wants to be with them while they're searching down this piece of information. So she begs and pleads and convinces them. And this is when our story really, really kicks off for this installment, when they're on the road and they are on their journey to find out about this beggar bags piece of information that we were given. And what a fucking, holy shit, what a fucking ride. Oh my God. Damn. I thought the first book was a ride. First book's a fucking trip. This is a fucking ride. This is a ride. And I am sitting in the front fucking row, arms up. I am down for it. Let's go. Let's go. Awesome. So, what worked? First off, the continuity moments. There are enough mentions to the previous book that at no point in time in this book did I have to go back and read it or be refreshed about it or be reminded about it. There was enough moments in this book that gave me enough sense of, I know what the fuck's going on. I don't need to go back and refresh myself to know what's going on. Now, I did read these pretty much back to back. I read these within a week of each other. They were not released within a week of each other. So if you pick up the first book and you don't pick up this one for a while, you are still in good hands without having to really refresh yourself. He gives you enough of those moments, of those memorable moments in that book that will tie into this one. So you're taken care of. He handles you very, very well. I really, really enjoyed that. That's a big thing for sequels for me, is that continuity factor, because you have to have it. Because I don't want to read your book and then have to go back and read the other book at certain points in time to remember it, especially since that first book was only about 200 pages. I didn't have to do a damn thing of that. It was fantastic. Applause all the fucking way. I love that. That's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things. Excuse me. Another thing that really, really worked in this book was the building on the original plot lines. I counted about 5 in the first book, and every single fucking one of them got built up. And I'm not just talking touched on. I'm talking, we got some serious building blocks. Like, there is some definite growth in every single one of these plots. The role of Butterfly and how she's going to prevent a war within the MC. We got to see her in the MC and kind of see how she's learning to maneuver her way around this kind of world, and kind of in her own inner monologues what she's gonna fucking do. Loved it. Each personality having more autonomy now that they've kind of pushed Augustine to the side. That was further developed because we got further description of their personalities. We got to learn more about each individual personality. Some more than others, and that's okay. But we still got more of who they were, and it was developed on, and it was developed really, really well. The back plot of how this even happened to Augustine in the first place. Like I said, the whole piece of information that really starts this journey. We are learning about this plot. It was fantastic. I loved it. Creating connection with Butterfly between all the different personalities. This was heavily built on as well, and I thought that was fantastic. And then, you know, we have Colt, which I was not worried about his plot line not getting developed because it's Colt, okay? It's Colt. I was not worried about that one not being developed at all, and it was further developed, and it was developed exactly how I wanted it to be, so I was ecstatic on that. Yay! I love him, if you haven't figured that out yet. Colt's one of my faves. Now, with all this extra developing on the plots, he didn't give us so much that the plot was completed. None of these plots have been seen to fruition. But what I got was enough to create more questions, to create more buzz, to create more intrigue that I want to pick up the next installment and find out about each and every single one of these. Some more than others, because we all have our own kind of favorites. It's just a thing. But I am tingling and buzzing all over about all of these because I got just enough. I got what I fucking needed. I didn't get a teaser. I got a teaser and then maybe a little bit of a spoiler in my mind. I'm very, very happy with the amount of development on each one of these plot lines. I was so ecstatic about it. I was very, very satisfied with it. What also worked is the plot lines that he chose to heavily develop. Like I said, not all of them were developed in the same amount. Some were chosen to really push this installment forward. Definitely what happened to Augustine. That is one of the main ones in this book. Kind of starting the search for his backstory and how he came to be. He has no memory of before. None of them have any memory of before their existence. They just existed one day. And so we're really, really learning this. But through this development of this plot, we get this cloak and dagger element that's brought through this beggar bags. And it's so fucking cool. It's like a little mystery. We're on a little car journey and we're asking questions and we're interviewing people and we're kind of, you know, playing undercover. Like a lot of cloak and dagger with this plot line, which I love. I love a good cloak and dagger moment when it's done well. And this one was. It was done really, really well. I love the twist on beggar bags. I definitely 100% thought it was going to be one thing and it was a whole nother thing. And I was ecstatic there's a whole nother thing because I was like, fuck yes, yes, give it to me. I was so ecstatic that it was not the blatantly obvious. It was not blatantly obvious. It was a twist within it. And I just, I ate that shit up. I ate it up. I was giddy. I even cheered at that moment. I was like, yes! I did. I cheered on that one because I loved that twist. I was really, really happy to not have the obvious solution. Oh, it was fantastic. And then this puzzle that gets revealed within this plot line, this lock and key element of their minds. This fucking thing just makes me want to play. I am not very good at three-dimensional mystery style puzzles. I'm really good with jigsaw puzzles. And this puzzle reminds me of like a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle mixed with a Rubik's Cube amalgamation. And I'm playing Clue the board game. Like, that's what it feels like, and that's one of my favorite board games to play. I just had a fucking field day with this because I sat there and reread that section over and over, and I tried to figure it out. And I'll be damned if I don't figure this fucking thing out. I'm gonna fucking figure it out because I want to so bad. It has me so intrigued and so on the edge of my seat, this lock and key element and this wall that's, oh my God, it's fucking dope. I love it. I love this element. I thought it was great. And the fact that this was one of the plot lines that was further developed, I was so happy because this is one of the ones that I really wanted to know. This is one of my bigger questions from the first installment. Is like, how did he get there? Why did this happen? How is he like, why is he like this? I wanted to know, so I was so happy that I got to learn more of it. The next plot line that was really heavily developed because they are away. They're just them together again. But this time it's not all about the sex. It is the creating connection with Butterfly and her guys. There was a lot of one-on-one time with them. They're in a car for most of this. Or they're at a diner, or they're in their hotel. And so there's a lot of quiet moments. There's not a lot of bullshit going around. It's just them. And within that scope, yes, we have 5 personalities that are constantly chit-chatting back and forth, back and forth. But we got one-on-one time with a lot of our personalities, but we got deeper connections during these one-on-one times that weren't sexualized. And I fucking love that. That was great. Don't get me wrong. I love the sex. I love it. I love it. Give it to me. But I needed those connectivity moments from the first book, and I finally started to get them. I started to see the different relationships forming. I got to see it, and I ate it up. I did. These car rides, there was times where they were just holding hands, and I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking adorable. This is fucking adorable. I love it. I love it. The white knight in shining armor moments. Big connectivity moments. Big reveals for some of our guys, too. Big emotional reveals. I got emotion in this one. I got that emotional connectivity that I was missing in the first one in this one, and I was so fucking happy. Oh my God, I loved it. Because I started to see the characters for who they actually are, not just, what they desired physically and sexually wise. I got to see them, and I loved that. I fucking love that. Not to mention there's a huge, huge fucking connectivity with a life and death component. So I mentioned that there's 2 white knight shining armor moments. Well, there is a white maiden shining armor moment, whatever you want to call her. That moment was fucking awesome. I will admit, I already knew that event happened, so I knew it was coming because Lucian Bane had blurbed it on one of his Facebook posts. So I already knew it was coming. I just didn't know what was happening before and what happened after. So it was really nice to put that whole thing together because that was a total hook for me because I was like, I want to know what the fuck is going on with this. So, but that moment was so connective for this, I guess, couple. I'm going to say couples. It was so connective for them. Oh my God. I fucking loved it. I loved it. I saw fear. I saw compassion. I didn't so much see love, but I saw, desperation. I saw need. I saw desire. I saw pain. I saw fear. I saw all of this in this one fucking moment. I got the emotional side to these relationships with Butterfly, these connective moments that I was missing, and I got them. I got So many of them, and I'm so fucking happy. I was just eating them up. I was like a kid in a candy store in this book. It's fucking fantastic. Excuse me. The next thing that really worked in this book was the revelations. Oh my God. We don't get a lot of them. We don't get a lot of them because this is just the second installment of what is now a 5-book series. So you can't give away all your secrets. I mean, I know this. I know. Can't give away all of them, but the ones I got, fuck me, they were great. Oh my, fuck. Ah, they were fucking dope. They were so good. They cinched it. Definitely, yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. If I was not reviewing this series, I'd still be picking up a third fucking book because of some of these revelations. Because they were that on point and they were fantastic. One revelation that I really want to talk about, though, is Pain. I got to learn so much about Pain. I mean, this is his book. I got to learn so much about him. I loved learning about his artistic background. I can't paint. I've never been a painter. I was always more musically inclined, and I can scrapbook. That's my creativity area. But I loved learning that he was a painter. Did his painting sound really, really creepy? Fuck yeah. I totally want to see it in real life, though. That is something I would pay to go fucking see, because that sounded dope as shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounded awesome. And I love the line that Butterfly said about it. One's creatively sick, the other's just sick. And that was about 15% of the way through the book. And I thought it was fucking great. I giggled at that, and that's the first time I have laughed at Butterfly. So that was great. I had a great time with that one. But then I also got to see Pain open himself up to Butterfly in an emotional way. I got to see a little bit of his vulnerability, which it's important. I like to see all the different sides, and I got to see it, and I really, really appreciated that. And then about 65% of the way through, I got to see Pain really show his vulnerability, but not in a please don't hurt me kind of way, more in like, I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of it. And he says this line, it's not your sexy mouth I have a problem with, it's the lack of logic that exits it. I stopped and laughed for about 20 fucking minutes. I'm not kidding you. I died because he called Butterfly out. And I was just... I love a dude that's not afraid to call somebody out. I fucking love it. A lot of people are like, I do not like that. I don't mind being called out because it's a fact of life. You just got to deal with it. So I really, really enjoyed that he called her out. And I fucking appreciate it so much because it literally told her, hey, guess what? You're doing all this shit. You're trying to be everything we need. But you're not being what I fucking need. Harlow can defend you all he wants, and you smile and bat your eyes and all that. But when I fucking do it, I'm an asshole, and I have ulterior motives, even though his motives have always been that way. He called her out on her bullshit, and I fucking appreciated that. God, I love that. I loved that he wasn't afraid to do it. And then with all the voices in the head saying, dude, you are fucking us all over, he still didn't give a shit. He still didn't care because he's like, no, this is crap. You guys all get this and I don't. Okay, I don't get any of this. I don't get to hold her hand and it be fucking okay without there being some kind of ulterior motive because I'm an asshole, because I like Pain. Fuck this. And he called her out on it. I fucking loved it. I love that scene because it was a real fucking scene. It was a real grit moment. The connectivity moments don't always have to be sweet. They can be angry and upset and still work because that's what happens. People don't always get the fuck along. They have disagreements. People offend others. They get pissed off and they talk about it and they move the fuck on. And I appreciated it. I did. I fucking appreciate that scene so much. And I loved Pain so much. I almost put Pain first. For a hot minute, Pain was my favorite. For a hot minute, he was my favorite until, things happen. So really, really enjoyed all the revelations I got with Pain. Oh my God, I loved them. And then at the end with him, oh, that was dope. I loved the angle that was taken with him. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I loved it. I loved it. I loved that these revelations, while answering some questions that I did have, they are creating more questions. They're creating more buzz and more enticement and more intrigue, all of these. So these revelations were so well placed and so well timed that it created more excitement for the next installment and find out more in this story. I just thought it was done so, so well. Also, what these revelations did in this book was allow for some breathing moments. It wasn't a reveal, bam, another one, bam, another one, bam, another. I got a reveal and then I got to process it for a little bit. I got breathing moments in this book. And that was so nice. It was so nice to be able to step back and look at it and really think, holy fuck, where did this fucking come from? How did I not see this? And breathing and working through it, I just fucking loved it. They were so well spaced and so well timed that this flowed so easily. But it wasn't so slow and so far out that you got tired and you were dredging through it. They were just timed perfectly. Revelations were on fucking point. And you know what? They re-fucking hooked me. They did. They re-hooked me. Straight up, I'm gonna admit it. There are so many more questions now that I have. I'm like, I need to know. I can't not know these questions. I need to know them. I need to. There is so much stuff that worked in this book. This was a great installment for a direct sequel. It does not suffer from the second book hangover, which if you're not familiar with the second book hangover, a lot of times in series, the second book is just kind of a bridge book. Some stuff happens, but not really a lot of stuff happens. This one, it is a bridge book, but it is a very well done bridge book because of the amount of revelations we got, because of the action that we got, because of the connectivity we got. This one wasn't so jam-packed with action that it left you exhausted. It had enough action and enough slow times to really carry you across this bridge into these further plot lines to really set up for some new crazy stuff that I am hoping is going to be coming around the pike really, really fucking soon. A lot of great stuff in this book. Now, since this is a direct follow-up, I feel that it's important to talk about the previous issues that I had in the first installment to see if they were elevated, exacerbated, or just kind of left as they are. So one of my first issues in Butterfly and Atlas was the MC references were lacking. We do have more MC references in this book, so that was elevated. We get to see more of the club world and kind of the other brothers and get some brief glimpses of how their inner sanctum and inner circle work. There's some really fun scenes with Butterfly and the guys playing pool and listening to music and at the bar. And just the overall feel definitely gave more of a motorcycle club reference to this book. We don't see any bike riding, but I'm okay with that because we got the club aspect more and we got her wearing the property of and kind of being like, I don't really know what to do with this. But then playing it off and be like, hey, well, I'm going to go quickie later. You know, actually having fun with this badass biker concept. I really, really enjoyed that. So that was definitely elevated from the first installment for me. One of my other issues was Atlas getting lost in the story. In Butterfly and Atlas, I felt like he got lost because there was so much that had to be done, so much world building and so much concept building that I felt he got lost. In this installment, I did not, although it does not follow Atlas, it follows Pain. I did not lose Pain at all. This definitely really heavily focuses on Butterfly and Pain and building their relationship. Do we get building blocks of the other relationships, including Atlas? Yes, but I did not feel that Pain got lost in this at all. I feel like he was majority of the book and the rest of them incorporated the remaining percentages in a very uniform, equal kind of way. So I really enjoyed that as well. Still, also, while developing all these other plots, we are still focusing on the title characters of the book. So I really, really enjoyed that. I also liked that Payne had an arc in this book. You definitely saw in the beginning he was one way, and at the end, he's not there yet, but you see the trajectory that he's going on. So I love the fact that he actually had an arc in this story, and I really, really enjoyed that fact a lot. Another issue I had was the length of the first one. The first one was 200 pages, and this one I believe was like 349, 359. So I did get more pages, which definitely helped with all this further development of these plots and these breathing moments that I was talking about, having more room to spread this stuff out and really flesh it out and give it more depth and more character and more connectivity and just all around fucking deliciousness. He chose to use his extra space instead of jam-packing it with more shit. He chose to really elevate all of his stuff that he's already talked about. And I really, really appreciated that technique. I really, really enjoyed it. So that was definitely elevated for me a lot. I got more of my contextual elements that I was missing in the first book because of that extra length, because he had the space to do it. It was fantastic. Another issue I had was the demon possession. I'm still trying to process this concept. I will be honest. This is the one where I'm still kind of like, I'm still trying to figure out where this angle is going, but I think I might have an idea now, especially with that big final reveal. I feel like that is where we're going to be going with this demon possession thing and really starting to flesh that out. So I'm still hesitant about it, but I'm not so much worried about it anymore. I don't feel it's something just kind of floating in the abyss. It's a real thing now, and we're going to see it really start to come to fruition here very, very soon. All right. Now, that was all of my issues from the previous installment. So they've all pretty much been eradicated, or they were elevated. None of them were just kind of left, which I really, really do appreciate. So what didn't work? This is based on only the new material introduced in this installment. That's why I wanted to go over my previous issues. So I didn't include those in what didn't work, because they worked in this book. They did. So this stuff is all on what was new to this installment and this installment only. So all of our new pieces of information. I don't have any issues with the new stuff. I don't have a single one. Except I want more. If that's an issue. I want more. I always want more. I'm a greedy bitch. So I want more. The new material, the new working material, it has caused so many questions, but not questions of, what the fuck are you doing now? Like, seriously, are you doing this? No, it's not questions like that. It's questions of, where are you going to go with this? How are you going to do this? How is she going to be this when she was this and can't fucking do this? How are you going to fucking fix all this? How are you going to resolve it? They're questions of what's to come down the pike, not concerns and questions of, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? So I didn't have an issue with anything of the new material whatsoever. None. I love this. I love this fact, because that's a rarity for me. That usually is a rarity for me. So, yeah, I had a great time with the new material. Great fucking time. But you are probably wondering why I didn't mention a specific issue that I had in the first book. Well, that's because it's story time. Go back about me in high school, all right? Me in high school. I went to high school with this guy, and he was pretty good looking, but I had a visceral reaction to him to stay away from him. He never said anything rude to me. He was never mean to me. He never cursed me out. He was never a douchebag. Actually, he's a pretty fucking stand-up guy by everybody's description. But I had a visceral experience to stay away from him. And I learned at a very young age that when your body, your mind, everything telling you like big red flags, you stay the fuck away. You just avoid. I was never mean to him. I was never rude to him, but I had nothing ever to say to him. I never paid attention to him. Okay? Jump forward 11 years. I walk into a party and there's the guy. There's the guy right there. And I'm thinking, fuck, shit. But then I realize that feeling isn't there. That visceral feeling of stay away is not there. So I sit down and we play Cards Against Humanity. And the host of the party reads the card and definitely says vagina instead of Virginia. And I, being the smartass that I am, say some smartass comment, which I do not remember off the top of my head right now, but it was brilliant. I know it was, because it was like one of the few good comments I had that year. And I pretty much slam him. And this guy hands him his phone with a phone number on it and says, here's the number for the burn unit for that burn. Me and him lock eyes. Jump forward 4 years later. I'm promising forever to that man. That man in high school was my husband. I had a visceral reaction to stay away from the man that I fell in love with and wanted to spend the rest of my life with. So you're probably wondering, what the fuck has this got to do with anything? Well, here it is. In my first review of Butterfly and Atlas, I said this, I fucking hate the heroine. I fucking hate her. I said those words. And I had 3 or 4 comments on the video. None of them hateful, none of them rude. Absolutely not. Everybody was perfect. But disagreeing with my feelings on Butterfly. I also had about 6 emails saying the same thing. All very professional, nothing rude. But there was a visceral reaction to my dislike for her and the reasons I gave. So when I read all those, going into this installment, I paid really fucking close attention to her. Really close attention. Which brings me to the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is a term closely associated with the work of a mathematician and meteorologist named Edward Norton Lorenz. In chaos theory, where you oftentimes see butterfly effect, it is the sensitive dependence on the initial conditions in which a small change in one state of a deterministic nonlinear system can result in a large difference in a larger state. When I said I didn't like, when I fucking hated Butterfly, I said that I thought she lacked conviction and follow through. In this installment, I saw her standing up for herself after her scene with Augustine, and I saw her forgive him. I saw her physically stand up for herself when Payne dropped a bomb on her saying that she could go back to her fucking fragile state after laying out that he wasn't happy with her kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth. I saw her physically assault him and defend herself. Didn't really go very far because, I mean, it's Payne. But I saw her attempt. I said that she was being she had this theory of being what she needed for every guy to flourish. And I saw her playing favorites more with it than actually doing it. In this installment, I saw a prayer circle with Augustine, meeting him on his level. Not in the way she did in the beginning of the book. That was definitely a cult thing. And that's a whole nother bag to talk about later. But I saw her meet Augustine on his level with the prayer circle. And I saw the beginnings of her trying to be what Payne needed in an open way. Not it being tricked upon her, but her openly choosing to do this and cause him pain because that's what he needed. I saw the beginnings of it because it happens closer to the end of the novel. I saw her outside the guys. I saw her dancing in the motorcycle club and flirting and being flirtatious and teasing the guy that she's attracted to and the guys that she's attracted to. I saw the girl. I saw her eating whatever the fuck she wanted and how much she wanted. And not giving a fuck And I love a bitch that can eat. I do. I love bitches that can eat because fuck being petty and small. Yes, fuck it. Eat the food. It's great. I saw her come to her friend Becky's aid and want to watch out for her and being that loyal friend. And I saw her be completely 100% unapologetic about that prayer circle, which I have to state was the standout moment for me in this book. If you asked me, what's the moment I remember the most about this book? It's not a sex scene. It's not a life or death scene. It's that prayer circle, because I'm Roman Catholic and we have organized prayers for everything. You memorize them and you regurgitate them. And yes, they serve a purpose, but sometimes they don't convey what you need them to convey. And sometimes you just want to fucking talk. And that's what I do. It's what I've done since I was little. And that's all she fucking did. She just talked. And in that talking, I started to see her. I saw her unapologetically lower her head and talk and not give a fuck what anybody thought. That's what I saw from her. And then I heard her say, "'Cause he assigns an angel to us and tells us that an angel to stay close by. Be ready and watching. One day sin will lead them to a place where only he can go. Only he can save us. And when that happens, I want you to wrap them up in your arms and let them know I was always there. I never left." I stopped reading at that point because that passage reminded me of literally my favorite poem of all time, which is Margaret Fishback's Powers, Footprints in the Sand. It was written in 1964, and it talks about a man walking on the sand and seeing some footprints, set pairs of footprints. And when he's talking to God, he says, "Why do I see one set of footprints at the hardest point in my life? Why did you leave me?" And he simply looks at him and says, "I didn't leave you, I carried you." And that passage reminded me of that favorite poem. That poem has been hanging in whatever house or dorm I have lived in since I was born. Okay? It is a very important poem to me. And to have it referenced in this book by a character that I openly said that I did not like. Well, that hit home. That hit home. And I started realizing that all these small moments that I was paying so close of attention to, that's where I saw Butterfly. I saw the Butterfly that you guys have been defending. I don't see her to the extent that you guys do, because I still see some things about her that I don't like, but I see the trajectory that the author has put her on. And I love a comeback. She might not have been originally written for a comeback, but for me, she's going to have a comeback. And sometimes those are the best characters. Which goes back to my story about my husband. I wanted nothing to do with him. And I ended up marrying him. So with time and growth, I can change my opinion of people and characters. So my fingers are crossed that she stays on this trajectory, and the behavior that I'm seeing that I'm not really a fan of will eventually go the fuck away. I don't hate her anymore. She's not my favorite either. But I can tolerate her now. Now, enough with the heavy shit. Let's talk about sex. Spice rating, 3 chili peppers, guys. 3 fucking chili peppers. Not as high as the first one. Not as high as the first one. The amount of sex is about the same, but the sex scenes did tend to lack the intensity that the other ones had, and I think it was just because I was so engrossed in those. And this installment, I was really looking at connective moments, and if the issues I had in the first installment were relieved. So I didn't get those really intense sexual moments. Were they still fucking fire? And did I still reread some of them over and over again? Yes, I fucking did, because this man, and I said in the last video, I'm gonna say it again, can write a fucking sex scene, okay? He can, except these sex scenes now had a little bit more of an emotional backbone to them, which made them just a little bit more fun to read. just a little bit more. And so I did have a good time with them. But this installment definitely had some more fun with the sexuality. I saw Butterfly tease the guys in the restaurant, literally making fun of them because like, oh, are you having a problem while I'm eating this? I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep ordering more food. I did feel bad for Harlow at that point because the fucker just wanted to eat and no one let him eat. I felt kind of bad for him. Not gonna lie, felt kind of bad for Harlow in this installment just because he fucking wanted to eat. But I also saw her in the club dancing with her girlfriends and chit-chatting and seeing her as a female, not just a sex object through the guy's eyes in the club. Like, yeah, they still talked about her ass and her tits, and it was great. I mean, she's gorgeous. Awesome. Please talk about it. Please. But I saw them laugh with her. I saw them play pool with her. I saw them joke with her. I saw them say, don't fucking dance like that. And I literally can see them just shaking their head like, why am I putting up with this? Oh, that's because, damn it. Like, I can see all of these nuances. I saw all these connective things. So the fun was definitely mixed with the sexuality in this one. So not as spicy as the first one, but a lot more satisfying. The first installment was still very satisfying, the sexual department, because of the carnality. But now I got some more of that emotion behind it. So I'm still more carnal than I am emotion in this, but it's getting to make that nice balance. I'm starting to get there, and I had a great fucking time with the spice in this book. Which brings me to my final thoughts. If you have not read the first installment of, or if you have read the first installment of Butterfly and Atlas and you are debating if you should continue, go and pick up the fucking book. Go pick it up. You're not going to regret it. You're not. This is great. This is a great second installment. Nothing is solidified. The revelations we've got and the reveals we got only add to further questions, but that's a good thing. It's a 5-book series. If we ended it right now, what's the fucking point of the other 3 books? All right? Straight up. I love the growth and the development that I'm seeing in all of these characters, including the ones I didn't like. I have no problem with characters not being hits for me in first installments of books, because that gives the author a chance to really build them up and try to draw me back into them. Some of my favorite characters in some of the books I read start off as complete and total fucking assholes, and I hate them. And then by the end of the book or the series, I'm just obsessed with them. So me not liking Butterfly in the first book doesn't bother me at all, because now she has room to grow for me and possibly become a stronger, more favorite character, because I can see the growth. If she was a hit for me in the first place, yes, she could go up, but I'm already in fucking love with her. So stuff that she does is only just going to compile that. I get to build a relationship with Butterfly throughout the series now. So I'm really glad that I have a character that wasn't a fucking hit and is now growing and starting to grow on me. And I'm starting to see who she really is. So I love this. I love where she's going, and I love where the guys are going. And I'm really, really obsessed with this wall component. And one final thought. There was a very bit moment in this book that just caught my eye, and I really enjoyed it. And I kind of want more of it. I don't think it has anything to do with the story at all, but I just really latched on to this one small minor note, and I would really like, I don't know if they have further development, if they appear in the rest of the series, but I really want something of them, and that's Levi and Becky. Can I have their story? Because they're fucking adorable. I just read that, and just how excited she was to tell Butterfly that she liked Levi, and then when Butterfly told, and Levi was like, hell fucking yes! Yes, I just about died. I loved it. That was one of the sweetest moments of this book, and it has nothing to do with any of the characters. So, another great moment in this book, and it was a little minor bit part, and I just loved it. I thought it was adorable, and I kind of want more of them. Can you give me a novella of that? I would be great. I would be so ecstatic if I got just a little snippet of what their story entails. I hope that I get to see them again. I do. I kind of hope I get to see them again, because I really liked their beginning. I thought it was really, really sweet and adorable. I thought it was sweet. And for my author, Lucian, I hope you watch this. Thank you again for this installment, and thank you for giving me the emotional connective moments that I was missing in the first book. I had a great time with the first one, and I had a fantastic time with this one, but for different reasons. And I love a series that every book can give me something different. So I have really, really high hopes for the third book because I've got the carnal, I've got the emotion, and I'm really hoping that third one packs a punch. So that's what I got for you guys today, and I will see you guys all soon with Butterfly and Augustine.